Welcome back to Cryptolytics, giving you a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today, I'm going to go over a new strategy that I've developed using the CVI, and it's a tops and bottoms strategy that tries to catch the top and catch the bottom in certain moves. And there's a few extra features that I've added. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? Okay, so here we are on the Bitcoin Cash 1 hour chart. And this is the chart that I'm using at the moment to try and make the most of this strategy and try to optimize it as best I can. Now, what it is it's a tops and bottoms, so it uses the cumulative volume index, and I covered this in my BB strategy video. So I'll leave a link here on the screen to that video so you can check that out. And in that video, I just use it to take profit and re-add on Solana and a few others that I'm using it for, like DYDX, AVAX, ADA, and a few others that I'm using that strategy with. But in this one, I decided to turn it into a strategy that would take long trades when it's above the 200 period moving average and take short trades when it's below the 200 period moving average, and it can be turned on and off. So we'll just bring up the strategy tester and pull it down a little bit so we can see more of what's on the screen here. And as I do with most things, I've got the backtest date range. Of course, if you've got the top tier of TradingView, you can do this anyway using the deep backtester where you can select your date range. But this is for people who don't have that function and just have the basic level of TradingView. So I've just got it defaulted to the start of this year. And the default settings for this are 3 for the length for the tops and bottom settings, and these I haven't changed at all. I've also added a stop loss, and by default it's at 5%. In this case I've put it at 2 because I really want it to just get out of the position if it's wrong, so it doesn't just hold on. And there's a few other things that I've added as well, like this here, which closes the trade at the next signal regardless of where it is in relation to the moving average, because it will only close the trade when it technically hits a stop loss, and the stop loss will change constantly depending on the signals that are provided. So if it's in a long, which it was here, so I'll just close this off the screen here. So these are the settings I'm using for Bitcoin Cash. This is quite good for when it's stuck in a range, to be honest, when it's range trading, but it can also be good to catch breakouts as well. So you can see these big arrows on the chart are where there's signals. Whenever there's a signal, the stop loss actually updates. So it's a trailing stop loss, but it trails not in the way you would think. It trails in relation to the most recent signal. So for example, if it's below this 200 moving average, and you can change that to any other one you want, say 100 or 50 or whatever, you just type the value in here and make sure that this box is ticked. It will only take short trades when it's below the 200 period moving average, and it will only take longs when it's above it. So in this case, you could see it took that short, and every time there was a top signal, it moved the stop loss up. And in this case, then it moved it back down until it triggered here at a small loss. But as you can see, it didn't take any of the longs because it was below the moving average. Now, if you turn this off, I mean, if you have a look at the strategy tester, it's actually been pretty good. But if we turn this off, we can see it'll take a lot more trades, but you can see it gets pretty wild here on the strategy tester. I think probably would change this value to something else so it doesn't just keep stopping out, but that's pretty much that. So if we just put this here, I can show you what it looks like when it closes the next signal, when the moving average filter's turned on. So we'll just turn this on. So obviously this significantly less because we just had this massive parabolic move, but it will take a long here, and then regardless, it will just take profit at the next top signal. So in this case, it was here, so it's only taking longs, but then it's closing them off at the next top signal. So if you think it's giving too many signals, then you just would change this value and just follow the strategy tester and see, you know, when whatever you're back testing has performed the best. So in this case, it just held on to the trade until it finally crossed down below the 200. So this is, you could say, technically a trend trading strategy in that it will just hold until the 200 period is lost, the moving average is lost. So in this case right now, it's just hit a short, and you can, as per the strategy, just click this if you want it to just, you know, get into very short-term positions essentially. And by default, the initial capital is 1,000, order size 1,000, and the commission's 0.2. But if you're on some of these other exchanges that have way better commissions, like, you know, Bybit and BitGet and that have, you know, much lower percentages like 0.02 and stuff like that, you get a lot better results. So let's just change this, I guess, because most people might be using something like a Bybit. So I'll just leave this here so we can watch these results. If you're using any leverage, then you just would multiply this value by however much you would. So if you're doing like a 7x or something like that, and you know, you can see it's definitely outperformed buying and holding Bitcoin Cash in the last year. I don't know who bought Bitcoin Cash at the start of the year. I don't think many people did. I'm pretty sure it really just started recently with all the Gensler news, and that sort of narrative that, you know, Bitcoin Cash is not a security kind of fueled the run. So it didn't really hold on in this case because we've turned on the take next signal feature. So we just turn that off, and you can see that, well, it's performed very well. And we'll just turn this buy and hold equity off. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty good, but yeah, you just need to refine this to the time frame you're on, the symbol you're on, and you know, if you want the moving average filter on or not. It does make a pretty big difference in this case. You don't have to worry about this, clicking this, if the moving average filter is turned on, because it'll take the next trade regardless. So we can see just normally, this is how it trades. So it took a long here, a short here, stop loss trailed up because of these top signals here. So it just kept moving the stop loss up until it hit a long. Very small profit here, I think, not really very much at all, to be honest. You can see even on the strategy tester, it's not that impressive doing it like this, but that's just, you know, from the start of the year. So, and also if you're on a different time frame, maybe it will perform better for this sort of thing. Like if you're on, say, like the daily, let's just say the daily, and let's see where we start. So this, we probably need to change the stop loss on this. You can also change the stop loss to like the average true range. So it'll put the stop loss at the 14 by default is at the average true range. I can't really see it on the chart though here. It's 100% of the time if you did this, and that's pretty great. I mean, that's pretty hard to default. Look at this profit factor, absolutely insane, 6,854. But yeah, you could just change this percentage to something, you know, a bit more realistic, I suppose. So as like a saving grace, I suppose. So if it hits this, let's see if it actually hit the stop loss at any point. It did here at this long, hit the stop loss. But anyway, as you can see, you can just play around with this and sort of work out what works best for the ticker you're on. If I turn this down, yeah, you can see it's getting better as I pull the stop loss closer, because just pulling the pin on a bad position before it gets a chance to do any damage. But the problem with the daily is you're going to get swings that will easily take you out. So, I mean, you just keep moving this until it looks good. I think I saw, there you go, 1200, that's pretty good. But you get this drawdown that looks pretty bad. I mean, 200% drawdown is actually not good at all. But anyway, that's up to you to have a play with, I suppose, to see, you know, what works for you. Average true range, just do that one because that was really good before. Let's just go back to the start of this year and ignore everything from prior. So yeah, if you've got the moving average filter on, it probably won't take any trades on the daily because price is moving above before it's printing a top or a bottom in this case. Maybe you went like 21 or something like that. It could be better, but again, it's really not done anything here. So the bigger the time frame, the less likely this will work out. Move this, there we go. So yeah, if we go close at the next trade, so it'll close regardless at the next trade, and we can maybe take this to the back at the beginning of time. Well, it's actually performed okay, and then you can just play around with this setting here until sort of gives you the best results, and that's if you really want it to be super long term. This is probably better on like lower time frames, to be honest, because you know it's kind of designed to be like a scalping strategy where it just gets in and out and goes from there. So let's just pull this back to here and chuck this on like 2% and take this off maybe. Anyway, as you can see, that's kind of how it works. The strategy code is I've just sort of completely customized it. So, you know, it's got all this stuff in it. Strategy code is found in the document. I'll leave a link to the document in the description below. And this is the same document that the Cryptolytics BB Trend Trader is in. I'll show you the document now. So this is what the document looks like. It just says BB buy and sell strategy. And basically, if you scroll down to the bottom, it says tops and bottoms strategy. So it's all in here. That's all the code. The commission's 2% by default, as I mentioned before. So it just changes to what your commission is on your exchange. And it's got everything like that. So this would be good for like kind of Pionex. I haven't customized this to work really well with using the Wonder Trading. And I can always add those comments at any stage in the future, but I haven't bothered at this stage. So yeah, I mean, if you want me to do this for the Wonder Trading, then just let me know. Otherwise, you could just consider this as a manual strategy as well, where you just sort of manually take the tops and bottoms. But it is nice if it just does it for you, because especially if, you know, if you're asleep and you want it to just trade for you, then, you know, it can just do it for you. So the other thing as well is you could probably, if you want, say, turn this on when you're in a range and then turn it off when you're trending. So if price is trending, then you just turn it off, because you really, if you want to use this as a range trading strategy, so when price is stuck in a range, it just trades based on that. So what did we have this on before? I think 13 gave the best results. Let's have a look at the strategy tester. Yeah, here. So for example, you can see as we've been stuck in this range, let me see if I can fix this up. Percentage, 2%. And let's just change this to July the 1st, maybe. Yeah, because you'll know you're in a range, I guess. Like, you know, you just turn it off and you'll know you're in a range. You know, if you've got had this massive trending move, you know, you've printed a couple tops and then you've come down and grabbed another long. So as soon as you see that, you could turn it on, because you could be sure that we're probably in a range of some sort. So let's pick this up to like 3 or 4%. For the stop loss, leave off the moving average filter, and let's just change this to 7. So that's July, and have a look at what it's done so far. And it's pretty great, actually. So that was your first long there, essentially. And again, like, you probably would have turned it on here if you thought this was the range. So this was like a big spike up. That was the first long after a big spike up. But then after the short there and the first stop, that would be when you turn it off, because otherwise it'll keep shorting and then stopping out, shorting, stopping out, short, stop out, short, stop out. And it's just like, yeah, that's a good way to lose money. You know, you want to lose money, then do that. If you know, if you don't, then yeah, you turn it off, right? So as you can see, as soon as we get put into this range has started establishing, because we've got the first long print here. So long to short to long to short to long to short, bang. How good is this? 100% hit rate, 350%, and that's at 7x, I believe we put that. Let's just go super degen and go like 10x. Yeah, if you allocate $1,000 capital to this, and you're happy to do this in a range, and again, like, this is good for like a range after a big trending move, because that's when you get these really nice movements, especially on Bitcoin Cash, BSV, stuff like that. Then yeah, I mean, this is just essentially a money printer, right? But then you have to make sure that if you start breaking out of this range again, like if price starts breaking out, because you can see where we actually are forming lower highs and lower lows, sort of. But here it's a higher low. So now we're actually entering like a wedge pattern, essentially. So, and that's, you know, it's most likely going to break out at some point soon. So there's your wedge pattern, essentially. And so obviously as we get closer to this pressure point, then, you know, you're going to break to the upside or the downside. Probabilities are more in favor of a break to the upside. So, you know, maybe if it does break up, then, you know, probably want to turn it off. So good for ranges. It's kind of been really, yeah, going sideways. And during these periods, it's pretty good. But yeah, when it sort of starts trending sort of down, then it just goes long and then stops out, long and then stops out. So if you want to stop it from stopping you out constantly, if you want to use it like this, then you just turn it off. Turn off the signals or turn off the bot if you're using a bot. So there's your options there. But anyway, just another quick one. And, you know, thought I would share this. And if you've stuck around for the end here, then I'll show you one that looks like it works really well as a bot. So, I mean, you can see that it does stop out a lot. This one will open very short-term trades and it'll stop out if it's like 1% in loss. So here are the settings. It's for Maker, MKR, and that's on the 1 hour chart. And if we have a look here, it says, you know, 110% profit, but for me, I would use this 10x because the stop loss is so close. So for example, we'd just go, you know, $1,000 account, $10,000 position. Okay. And then, so the way this works is, and I'm actually in this right now as we speak, it will take every trade regardless of if it's above or below the moving average. So I've got this feature turned off. And as I said before, close the trade at the next signal is only relevant for if the moving average filter is turned on. So if this is off, doesn't matter if this is on or off. And I've just got the percentage stop loss here. So the stop loss is 1%. And that's pretty much it. That's it for the settings. And again, you'd probably want to use this on something with a low commission. So I've put this as Pinex's commission percentage because yeah, I'm using that to automate this because they do have MKR. So yeah, and it just uses the 1 hour chart. So let's have a quick look at the results. So you can see what it does. When it picks a top, if it's wrong, it gets out really quick. So I've actually got the moving averages on here, the smooth moving averages. So I'm just going to turn this off so we can just see what it does. And we can also come here to list of trades so we can see what this looks like. So right now, this is up on a trade. Well, it's actually up more than that, but whatever. So you can see here, it got a 6.8% win. Then it hit its stop loss. So hit stop loss means 1% plus commission. And, you know, then 3%, then it got lost, three in a row, but this 8%. So you can see, like, just because there's 3 in a row doesn't really mean much because all you need is a couple of good successful trades and they'll recover any of the losses. So, I mean, we can have a look and we can see, you know, went short here, closed and went long, and the long, it stopped out immediately on the next candle. And then it tried to long again. That was successful. Then took a short. So again, you know, that's 6% up. So where's the previous stop loss? We had, this was a successful short, this long stopped, successful long, successful short, long stop, successful long, unsuccessful short, which is kind of annoying because that actually would have been good, but whatever. Because if it shorted there, where's the next long signal? Actually, the next long signal was not for a while. So actually probably not that bad that it stopped out because then it had an opportunity to trade here. And remember, because this stop loss updates with the signals, if, for example, if price kept going down, but there was no bottom signal, then that stop loss coming down is a trailing stop. And then as soon as it hits that line, if there's another top signal down below, for example, then you will stop out in profit, right? So it's not stop in loss. And that's the benefit to it being 1%. So it does travel and track with price. But yeah, as you can see, it's the same as the other one where it works better in ranges because when things are trending, there's really no opportunity for a bottom to print. So it'll just keep printing tops. So this top was okay. And you can see that, you know, that's what I mean by the trailing stop. So this shorted here, but then it stopped out here because there was a top signal here, right? So then it updated the stop loss to 1% of where this was, which is down here. So that's why it still wins if it stops out. Not always, obviously, but it can still win if it hits the stop. So it's more like it says SL, but it's more like a closed position, right? So yeah, I mean, you can see the overview here looks pretty good, right? It's just like a gentle up. You can see the times where it's just like probably going up, whereas in prices probably going up and it just keeps hitting stop losses when you get these big drawdowns here. That's the thing about bots. I mean, you're going to get drawdown, as I say every time. So yeah, it was trying to catch longs here. So it went long, fail, long, fail, long, fail. This is the drawdown here. Then short fail, short fail. So that's why it looked like this. If you were sitting in this at this point and you were watching this, you would have been like, oh my God, this thing sucks. But that's the whole point about this sort of thing as a bot is you just kind of like accept the drawdown and wait for the money to start printing again. That's it as a bot. You can see sometimes it stops out good positions, which, you know, would be kind of annoying. But again, this is purely as a bot, this one here. So you wouldn't use this. I don't think you would trade this manually per se. I mean, you could, but just 1% stop is really, really, really close. So, you know, like if you're doing that manually constantly, it would probably get very tiring. Whereas if this is just happening automatically, then you're like, oh, you're not really paying that much attention to it. What you are probably paying attention to is the performance overall of the bot and not the trades that it's taking. But yeah, so anyway, that's this as a bot, essentially, that just trades like that. And again, the settings are here, 12 length. This is default. Percentage stop loss is 1% with no filter. I wonder if you turn the filter on, if it would be any better. Not really. I mean, more percentage win is better. And also the percent profitable ratio is not very good. Yeah, I mean, I think with this one, the percent profitable is going to be bad, because that means that 34% of the time the bot experiences a winning trade, or this strategy experiences a winning trade. But it doesn't really matter, because, you know, this is like 1% losses with like maybe 8 or 6 or 10 or whatever percent wins that just absorb all the losses and then pulls out in front. It's the whole point of this. But anyway, that's just this concept is using the strategy as a bot. So yeah, and you can automate this with Pionex very easily. And we can kind of see it working on other tickers like THETA on the 1 hour, for example. I mean, it's not that good, but you know, just, you know, another example of, you know, seeing how it works. And this is going back until, you know, the start of the year, Adam, which, you know, is not too bad. This one didn't perform anywhere near as well, that's for sure. We can see how well it worked without any leverage at all on the graph on the 15-minute chart. Again, like, these settings are all different, and I've gone through and back tested. This one's with 0.2 as well, so even, you know, if we change this to 0.5 for Pionex, or, you know, whatever, the results are better again. And then maybe we add a little bit of leverage to that, so, you know, use 7x for example, and, you know, like, that's a pretty nice looking strategy. 65 trades since the start of the year, and, you know, 83% win rate, you know, 3.8 profit factor, you know, nothing to shrug at really. And you know, there's the settings there. You know, I've got a very slow moving average. It's trade close to the next signal, you know. So I guess it's just, here's a couple of extra examples here showing how it works. I mean, obviously looking on the chart looks like looks pretty busy, but yeah, this one is, you know, using it so it only takes shorts below the moving average and longs above it. So yeah, it did miss this move, unfortunately, which would have been really good for it, but, you know, just the price was not at the right place at the right time, I guess, in order to get that. But I mean, you know, even if you do miss these moves, like, not that big a deal really, because yeah, the whole point is to try and preserve capital. So, you know, it's better than trying to short this whole way up the whole time, right? If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have any questions about this, then yeah, just chuck them in the comments below. And if you like this video and you want more content like this, then yeah, you can obviously subscribe and hit that bell notification so you get alerts when my videos come out. And if you want to help me and help the channel, I've got a bunch of referral links in the description below with OKX and Pionex. And if you wanted to help out the channel and help me out, then yeah, I would appreciate if you use those if you wanted to sign up to any of those platforms that I've got ref links to. But apart from that, hope you found this helpful. So keep safe out there. This is Cryptolytics signing out. Have a good one.